So start today's class, object-oriented programming in C++. We have discussed what is object-oriented programming in the last class. Object-oriented programming, as name suggests, it use object and class. It is its center, means it is your object-oriented programming surrounding objects. Means in your programming, object is at the heart. Means your whole programming is around objects and classes, and it's implemented as a real world events like we have discussed: inheritance, hiding, polymorphism, and abstraction kind of this thing. We have discussed all things. That's why I'm skipping this definitions. So there's some features of your object oriented programming, which is this is your object oriented programming concept, which is object, class, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation. All these are the features or concept of object oriented programming. We will discuss each features one by one. There are 6 features. The first features of object oriented programming is class. As we have discussed in the last class, class is like a blueprint for an object, or it is a collection of object of similar kind. Like we have discussed, as fruit is a class. In fruit class, there is some collection of object like different kind of fruits. Like apple is a fruit, banana is a fruit, orange is a fruit, or pomegranate is a fruit, mango is a fruit. These all are object, and the class is fruit. Means all these objects belong to the class fruit class. Okay. In the same way, we can define your class with syntax class followed by your class name. Suppose you want to create a class fruit, so you will write class space fruit. As the same way we declared structure. Okay, so we will discuss all this concept in programming in detail. Okay, the next concept, one more thing I want to say is class is a user defined, means user is defining the data structure of your class. Okay, and object, as we discussed, object is a member of your class. Okay, or instance of your class. Like fruit is class, then what are this member? Banana, apple, orange, all these are its members of this class fruit. So the instance means your apple is an object which belongs to which class? Fruit class. Your mango is an object of which class? Fruit class. Like this, suppose your potato is a object belongs to vegetable class. So there is two things: object and class. Class is a blueprint of objects. An object are the real world entities, like as we've discussed, apple, banana, and these are the real world entities. And fruit, class name like fruit is not a real world entity, it's a logical unit. Okay, fruits is a logical unit. Like vegetable, vegetable is a logical unit. And in this vegetable class there's different vegetables like potato or tomato or other kind of vegetables you can think of. Okay, so all these are the object. Here, as you can see, in this object there's a table. An object belongs to which class? Furniture class. Your fan is an object. Bike is an object, and pen is an object. Keyboard, what the thing you see is an object. Your computer is an object, your mobile phone is an object, as you is an object as well. Okay, so how we can declare a class and object in programming? Let's see here. A class is the class name. Person is your class name. It's a class, so the syntax is class then class name. Person is a class name, and curly braces open. In this curly braces you will declare your member variable of your class. Your person, what are its variable or what is attributes? Person will have its name, its id, or it's some kind of functions. Like in here I've just declared one function, get details. Okay, so then get details curly braces, close, semicolon. Okay. So here I just declared a one class person. Okay. Then how we declared object? Object will declare as your class name. Your class name is person followed by your object name. Here p1 is my object name. It's belong to person class. If it is a fruit class, then fruit, apple. Apple is my object and fruit is its class. Okay. So p1 is an object as in this example. Okay. If you do have any doubt in class and object, you can ask, unmute your mic and speak. What do you have any doubt or what you're not able to understand in object and class, or everything is clear? Please unmute your mic and speak, or even you can write in chat if do you have any doubt. Okay, so I'm just skipping this again. Object, as we have discussed in the last class. Today's in today's class, the first features is encapsulation. We are going to discuss encapsulation. At name suggests encapsulation. As you know, the in this word there is a capsule. The meaning of capsule is there's a different kind of medicine, and each medicine has its own property, and capsule is a certain kind of medicine. But as you see the capsule, it's wrapper by some material, like some plastic material or kind of material is encapsulated under one material. Okay. 1 minute. Like you see the structure of capsule, it's like this. Okay. Okay. It's wrapper around with some plastic material, and under this there is some medicine. Why we wrapper this material, this medicine with some material? We just want to prevent to this material and not able to react with atmosphere, outside atmosphere. So that's we wrapper with some material to prevent for not react with other outside atmosphere or outside items like water or some kind of moisture. Okay. So to prevent this means we are just providing some kind of protection. Okay, the same behavior we can use in object-oriented programming to protect our data and function with some kind of protection. Okay, and here as you can see there is a two portion. Okay, so here one side is in object-oriented programming, one side is there is our data, and some and the other side there is a function, and we encapsulate this data and function into a single unit in a single capsule. Okay, and we are protecting our data and function with outside outsider cannot access your data and function. Okay, means we are providing some kind of security to our data. Okay, so outside world cannot interact with your data and functions, means we are wrapping a data and function into a single unit. Okay. So encapsulation defined as wrapping of data and information under a single unit, as we have discussed. In object-oriented programming, encapsulation is defined as binding together data and function that manipulate them. Okay, so we are just binding a data and function into a single unit and just kind of giving protection. So outside world cannot interact with your data. Okay, so there is one example as you can see on your screen. As there is some offices or company, there is different departments. Okay, different, suppose there's an account section, there's a finance section, there's a sales section. Each department is its own working, and own working, own data, own functionality, and each department is wrapper up, means they cannot share their information with other department. Okay, until you are requesting. Suppose there is an account department has its own data, kind of data related to other employees, what are the salaries, what is the other account status of the employees, Finance department is its own data, sales department its own records. Okay, so there is an all this department in a single unit. Okay, if you want some kind of data, you have to request to other department, kindly provide this data, kindly provide this data. And if this data is shareable to this with the functional with particular department, then only they will share. Otherwise they will deny or some kind of restriction, so we cannot share our account balance of our employees to you, or some kind of means we are just providing or protection our data to other departments or outside world. Okay, so always we have to maintain our data secure. Okay, suppose you talk about the cellular company, the mobile company, they have data of all the customers. Suppose you talk about the Airtel company, Airtel has different customer, and each customer has there's an own data. Okay, so this company will not share with uh, data of its customer unless it is requested by some authorized person. Like suppose there's some crime happened, then only police request to this company, and then this company will share this particular customer data only. Okay, that means this kind of mechanism providing to security to our data. Okay, so all this we refer in a single unit. This called the encapsulation property. Okay, data and function we are referring in a single unit, and this single unit is wrapped around by some material, or if we talk about the capsule, then it's wrapping about the plastic material. Or if we talk about the computer programming or object oriented programming, we are protecting our data with secure mechanism. We apply some secure mechanism. We will use some access specifier for providing this sector. We will discuss all this concept and program uh, in detail. Okay, so just you focused on the concept. What is this meaning of all this terminology or features of your object oriented programming? Okay, as you can see here, there's a method means functions, and there's a variable means your data, and all these are into single unit. Okay. So the next features is abstraction. Abstraction means we are just hiding hiding the unnecessary detail, and we are just showing the essential detail to you. To you means the user. Okay, like we are what we can say abstract means we are just hiding our unessential things to our user, because the user cannot confuse what there's a lot of data. Like if you drive some car, there is different functions. Okay, like brake, there's an accelerator, brake, and steering. Each function has its own functionality. Suppose you press the accelerator, your car speed will increase. You know that thing. But how the actually mechanism working behind this car is not known to you. Okay, means we are just hiding how your ultimate system is working. We're just showing what the functionality, what this function will perform. Okay, same way you when you press the brake, your car will stop. But how actually the press is working, which is hiding. How your accelerator is working is the hiding. But how to handle the accelerator, it's known to a driver, or which is driving your car. Means we are just hiding other unessential thing. It's just showing the only necessary thing. Like if you're a driver, then you have to know how to drive a car, but how car is drive is not your business. Okay, suppose you are using your bike. If you are accelerating your using accelerator, speed of your bike will increase. When you press your brake, your bike will stop. Okay, so there is an only essential thing, essential functionality is given to you. But what inside the car or bike is happening, it's not known to you. And because it's not your none of your business. When you some problem occurs, suppose you are accelerating give to accelerator to your bike, and if the speed of your bike not increase, then what you will do, you go to some mechanic. Then it will mechanic know how the your bike functions, or your car functions. Okay, then it can be handled, but you cannot handle. Okay, so we are just abstracting your data or function. Abstracting means hiding your data and function with user. We are just giving you the functionality which is actual required. Okay, so this is a kind of abstraction. Abstraction in internal detail and hiding internal details, as you know, the car and bikes, and showing the functionality, it's known to abstraction. For example, phone call, your phone, there's a different functions. When you press when you type some number and give the call will connect, but how actually a call is working behind or under the phone, it's not known to you. Okay, what is the internal processing? Suppose do you have in your home or somewhere there is an AC. The AC provider just fix your AC at some place and just give to you one remote control how to access this AC. Okay, with the remote control you can change the temperature, increase the temperature, decrease the temperature, or some on the AC, off the AC. This kind of function you can perform. Suppose when your remote is not work, what you will do? You will just some kind of change the batteries and some kind of thing we will do, and then again try to control the AC. If the AC is not again it's not on or off, or not increasing temperature or decreasing temperature, you will call to the AC provider, or which installed your to whom who installed your AC. Okay, so there is an AC, there is a different circuit, different functionality, it everything is hide. Why? User. Okay, user have to user we have given this certain features, certain access. Okay, but user do not have all the access. Means user cannot change the circuitry, or you cannot user cannot open your AC and fix the problem. Okay, so we just give you user, we are just giving user to certain features, certain functionality, or not all the functionality is known by user. Only the features will known by user which actually user required. Okay, so there's an abstraction means that we are just hiding the detail which is not essential for user, which is not required by user. Okay, so the feature of abstraction, I will share this material, then you will read out all this thing. Okay, at the same way, one more example of abstraction I want to share. When you go to ATM machine, there is a different functions. When you enter the account, sorry, ATM machine, there's a different function is available to you. You can use all this function which is provided by this software developer who's developed this software inside ATM machine interface. Okay, but when some problem occur, you cannot handle this problem, or you cannot do any change in the ATM machine's functionality. You will contact to a bank, or bank will contact then software developer, and then any problem if occur, then it will change. Means the ATM machine is giving you the functionality which is belongs to you. You can insert your ATM and different, you can select the language, and you can select the account type and withdraw money, and this kind of functionality you can perform, which is given to you by bank. Okay, you cannot do the thing which is not provided to you. Means it is hiding. Abstraction is kind of hiding. Bank is hide the internal processing, what internally how the machine is processing. It's completely hidden from user. Okay, so the same feature we will use in object oriented programming. We will hide our data and function to user which is not required by user. Okay, this is the ultimately meaning of abstraction. Okay, if the everything is there's a two thing. If we provide all the internal mechanism to user, user will confuse. There's a lot of thing inside the machine or software. Okay, suppose there is a car has an engine, and engine has the different functionality, the complex structure and how it's working. If we try to explain the all the functionality to a driver will confuse how the car is working. So we just hiding all the things. We just showing, oh, this is your accelerator, this is your this is your brake, this is your steering, how control is steering. this is the only thing which is required to a driver. Okay, and other thing we are just hiding while some kind of wrapping. Okay, in the same way, from the user in ATM machine, we're just showing the only essential functionality, and other processing we're just hiding. Okay, so this is a completely meaning of abstraction. Okay, the next features of object oriented programming is polymorphism. In the polymorphism, as you can see, when one task is performed by different way, known by polymorphism, means poly means many form, poly means many, and formalism means form. Okay, so polymorphism means many form. Each class and object has many form. Each function, sorry, function has a many form. Okay, suppose you are a person, and each person has a many form. Okay, when somebody call a person, it will respond according to whom the person is called. Suppose you are a person, sometime you are a student, sometime you are a son, sometime your daughter, or sometime you are play the role of husband, play the role of wife, or grandfather, or kind of means each person has different form. Okay, when your father or mother call, you will respond differently. When your teacher will call, you will respond differently. When your grandpa call, then you will respond differently. When your friend call, you will respond differently. Means each object or each function has different or many forms. It will respond according to whom is called. Suppose when I call you, you will respond yes sir, no sir. This kind of respond I will get from you when I call. The person is same. When your father call, you will respond yes pa, yes, yes ma. So it means the person is same, but the behavior is changed when who is calling you. When your friends call, then you will respond differently, or yeah, something kind of some word you will use. When your friend call, means the person is same, but its form means the person has many form, and it will respond accordingly whom you call. Okay, okay, so when in the programming we have many functions with the same name. Means as you know, suppose your name is Sachin, your name is same, but what you will respond, means return, it depend on which function or which person or which object or which class is called by you. Okay, so this is the ultimately meaning of polymorphism. There is a person is same, it is responding on to whom call, means it's a many form. Like when you play some video game, there is different functions. Okay, like you play some kind of game, there's a different armies, and army has a different kind of arms they use. Some kind of some player has a gun, some player has some kind of arrow, and archery, and some kind of knife, and is called all this kind of arms do you have. But when you click on attack, they all will strike attacking, but mechanism of attacking is different. Gun is the function is same, attack, but gun will respond in different way. Your arch and bow respond in different way. Your knife is respond in different way. And some kind of horses in your army, then horses person is respond in different way. Means the function is same, attack, you click, and all your armies and or your arms will respond in its own way. Means what I want to say here is the person or the function is same, attack, and it's responding differently. Suppose you want to calculate the area of your some kind of geometric what to call geometric shapes, then it will return you the area of this object. Okay, suppose your object is circle, then it will apply different formula for calculating the circle area. Suppose you have rectangle, there is an I just call the function calculate area, and it will apply different formula for calculating the area of rectangle. Square is different formula, and other object has a different formula. So we are just call a function area, and it object, and its object is different, and each object is responding its own way. Okay, So polymorphism is just one thing. We are calling a function and it's responding differently depend on its type. Okay, as you can see here, the word polymorphism means many forms. In simple word, we can different define polymorphism as the ability of message to be displayed in more than one form. Okay, so you will read out all this material when I will share you. Okay, as you can see here, I just declare main function and start main method. There's in two variable sum1 sum2, the function sum. Here as you can see, the function name is sum is same, and returning different way. Here I just pass two parameter 20 and 30, then it will call this sum function int a int b, just sum a and b and return. Okay, here also call the same function sum, but there we have passed here three parameter 20, 30 and 40. Then it would call this function. There's some function name is same, but we are using three parameter. Here we are using only two parameter. Accordingly, this parameter is returning. Here is returning two parameter sum 20 and 30. We will return 50. Here if we pass three parameter, it will add three parameter and return addition of this three parameter 20, 30 and 40, 90. Okay, so here the method name is same sum, and it return according to its definition. Here defined three sum of three parameters. Here we're defining sum of two parameters only. Okay, the next property of object oriented programming is inheritance. As you know, the inheritance meaning of inheritance means we are getting the property or some kind of behavior from super class or upper superior. Like inheritance means you are inherit some kind of features from your parents. Okay, like some health or some kind of disease. Some disease is also inherited disease. Okay, cancer is also one kind of inherited disease. Means suppose your parents have cancer, maybe chance of you will get this disease from your parents also. Okay, so inheritance means we are getting something from our superior. Superior means which are the superior to you, means from you just created. Okay, suppose a person has superior spec. Okay, okay, so inheritance is kind of features, kind of feature will inherit properties of its superior class. Okay, in superior class we call it super class, and uh, subclass or derived call we call it subclass or derived class. Okay, superior class we also call the base class from where you are just created. Okay, so we have two classes. A class 1 is superior and class 2 is suppose subclass. Then property of superclass class 1 will inherited by the class 2. Okay, so as you see, when one object is acquire all the properties and behavior of parent object known as inheritance. Okay, it provide the code reusability. Reusability means what the code is you defined or write in your super class, it is also inherited. Means we can use, there's no need to write the same code. Okay, what the code written in the super class we can also use in subclasses also. It is used to achieve the runtime, and we will discuss runtime polymorphism when we do some kind of programming. Okay, the capabilities of class to derive properties and characteristics from another class is called the inheritance. Okay, the inheritance is one of the most important features of object oriented programming. Okay, we will discuss about suppose there is some properties. What the properties your parents have will acquire by you, means it will be inherited by you. Means suppose there is a property, your father have some properties characteristics. What the properties your father or mother have, you will all the properties will acquire by you. Or what the property your father have, it acquired from your grandparents. Okay, means this kind of mechanism is properties is inherited by the subclasses. Okay, I think is it clear to all of you what I want to say here? When your father or grandfather have some kind of property, you can acquire as well. Okay, So the concept is subclass. Subclasses means the derived class. The class is the inherent properties like you, and another class is called the subclasses. Or this class is called the subclasses, means the child class. Okay, child class is the class which inherit properties from other classes. Or superclass is the class whose properties are inherited by subclasses, like your parents. Your parents is super class. This property is inherited from them. Okay, reusability means what the code we write in this super class, it will be can be used by your subclass, means child class. Okay, like animal. Animal is a super class and its subclasses dog, cat, cow. All these are the animals, and the super class is super class is animal. Okay, what the properties of animal have, all these properties acquired by all these animals, cow, cat, or dog. Okay, so what are the advantages of object oriented programming over other programming language? Okay, first, oops makes development and maintenance easy. Why it's maintenance and development is easy? Because we can break our program into smaller sub program, and this sub program can be maintained by the more than one group members. Okay, so we can our maintenance or development, we can easily means deploy or distribute our maintenance to many person at the same time. Many person can develop a software. Okay, so second is object oriented programming. The data hiding, as we discussed, is provide some kind of data security. The third property of object oriented programming is ability to simulate real world event. Means what the real world is, real world events happening, we can simulate the same thing in our programming. Okay, we will discuss this point in the next class. It's because it's a very important concept, how we are simulating our object oriented programming in object oriented programming. Okay, so for the attendance, write in chat K. K for kite. Okay. Do not write P. Write K character. K for kite. Okay. Or do you have any doubt, please unmute your mic and speak. If you have any doubt, please ask. So can I end this meeting? Okay. Thank you.